Understanding copyright, the basics. What is copyright? Copyright is a legal right that protects original works of authorships like books, music videos, and artwork. It gives creators control over how their work is used. In the Bahamas, copyright is governed by the Copyright Act 2024, which aligns with international standards like the Berne Convention. As educators, we often use creative works in our teaching, so it's important to know what's protected and how we can use it legally. Copyright protects a wide range of works, including literary works like novels, textbooks, academic papers, blog posts and website articles, instructional manuals, and computer software code, plus musical works inclusive of the accompanying music. That's your sheet music for piano, a song with lyrics, musical score for a school play, and original jingles. Then we have dramatic works inclusive of any accompanying music, so a scripted school play or skit, radio drama, stage performance with background music, and a dramatized reading of a poem, plus artistic works, painting, drawings, photographs, sculptures, installations, graphic design, and architectural blueprints. Our next category is motion pictures and other audiovisual works. That includes your educational videos and documentaries, animated teaching clips, recorded classroom lectures, student-created short films, then choreographed works, a dance routine created for a school performance, a choreographed PE routine, or a cultural dance sequence recorded for educational use. Now we move on to sound recordings, the next category. That includes a podcast episode, a recorded interview or oral history, a music track recorded by students, and audiobooks or spoken poetry. And finally, architectural works, blueprints or CAD designs, a 3D model of a student design structure, and photographs of original architectural designs. They are all covered by copyright. What is not protected by copyright? Copyright protects how ideas are expressed, not the ideas themselves. You cannot copyright a concept, method, or system, only the specific way you describe or present it. For example, you can't copyright the idea of a superhero who controls water, but you can copyright your specific story or artwork about that superhero. The next thing that you're not able to copyright is facts or news headlines. Basic information like it rained today or the Prime Minister gave a speech is not protected. For example, a news article is protected, but the facts it reports are not. For more information, see Section 7, subsections 6 and 7 of the Copyright Act 2024. So the question becomes, when does copyright begin to exist? In the past, copyright was said to exist the moment that a piece of work is created. That's mostly true, but we can be clearer. Copyright begins to exist at the moment it is fixed to a medium. That means it must be written physically on a piece of paper, recorded in audio form, or captured in digital form. So who owns copyright? Usually the person who creates the work owns the copyright, but there are exceptions. If you create something as part of your job, your employer may own the rights. The work is considered a work for hire. And for clarity, if you, as an educator, compose a lesson plan, worksheet, or workbook, story, poem, dance routine, song, or a mural while in the execution of your duties as a teacher contracted by the Department of Education, that copyrighted work is the property of the Department of Education. This is covered in Sections 20 and 21 of the Copyright Act. 2. If you collaborate with others, you may share ownership. We see this most often in songwriting, where more than one person has contributed to the composition. That is, where more than one person wrote the lyrics and a team of people composed the music. If the work was not composed as a work for hire, all of the persons involved in the song competition own the copyright to the song. This is usually simplified by the contributions or collaborators splitting residuals that result from the copyright. And number 3, rights can also be transferred or licensed to others for ownership. If you create something and transfer the rights to someone else, then copyright follows the recipient. Often, the copyright owners, as they age, transfer or bequeath their copyright material to family members, which ensures that the value of money that can be earned remains in the family or the estate. A person may purchase a copyright from an existing legal copyright holder. This is called a license. The license determines the length of time the copyright can be used and its other terms. Licenses can be exclusive, which means only one person can use it at that time for the agreed purpose. They can also be non-exclusive, which means multiple people can purchase the copyright and use it for the agreed time and purpose. You do, however, under the Act, have the moral right to be identified as the author of the piece. Moral rights. In addition to economic rights, creators also have moral rights. These include 1. The right to be identified as the author. 2. The right to object to changes that harm their reputation. These rights are protected under Sections 12 and 13 of the Act and are especially important when adapting or remixing content. Now, let's talk about compilations and derivative works. This information can be found in Section 7 and subsections 3 and 4 of the Act. A compilation is a collection of content like anthologies or databases. These are works that are compiled. A derivative work is a new creation that is based on or adapted from an existing copyrighted work. Both a compilation and a derivative work can be protected if the original material was used legally. According to subsection 4, in a derivative work, only the new parts you added or created are protected, not the original material you used. For example, if you create a study guide using quotes from a textbook, only your original summaries and structure are protected, not the textbook content that you used. Here are some examples of derivative works: translations of a book into another language, a movie made from a novel, a remix or arrangement of a song, a dramatization of a historical event based on a biography, a painting based on a photograph. And here's a key point: only the original copyright holder or someone with permission can legally create or authorize derivative works. When creating a compilation or derivative work, remember that your copyright is separate from the copyright in the original material. That means it does not give you ownership or control over the original copyrighted material. How long does a copyright last? In the Bahamas, copyright lasts for the life of the author plus 70 years. After that, the work enters the public domain and can be used freely. This long duration means that even older works, like music from the 1950s or books from the 1960s, may still be protected. I hope the information in this section has been helpful. Please continue to the question and answer portion of Section 1. Upon completion, you may continue to Section 2.